Hello, welcome to Podcast First Player. Today we've got another review and it is this, the EasySMX X20 controller that was sent to us by EasySMX, but in no way influenced what I think of the product. Using the controller to play games opens a world of options, and EasySMX is no stranger to providing great controllers at competitive prices, and the new X20 is no different. The X20 allows you to connect to a Nintendo Switch, and Lite and OLED version as well, Windows, Android and iOS. No Xbox or PlayStation support here sadly. Sporting a white and grey shell, the overall looks very reminiscent of an Xbox controller, albeit with a few key differences. The mini LED light logo at the top of the controller is immediately different, but this simply lights up. It would have been cool to see some actual functionality here, so like battery status or what connection you're connected to, but it does just light up, but I suppose that would obviously bump the price up as well. As well as the logo, you'll find an extra two buttons, macro, command and turbo, plus some RGB to show off the X20 in all its glory. You can use the C button and the right or left stick to change the RGB or the 5-level adjustable vibration respectively. And it also supports gyroscopic movements if that's your thing. The RGB also lights up the ABXY buttons as well, which look almost black when the X20 is powered off. Feel-wise, the X20 is comfortable to hold, although the overall weight is a little light at 225.8 grams compared to the 287 grams of the Xbox Series X controller. It feels nice and the layout is comfortable, with an Xbox style layout only with low profile mechanical ABXY and shoulder buttons, a tactile switch D-pad, Hall effect triggers and detachable Hall effect sticks, which, unlike Razer and their Wolverine series controllers, EasySMX sell replaceable sticks which are available from their website. The sticks also have a plastic bridge on the inside that allows you to adjust the height of the sticks depending on how you have the bridges placed, which is pretty cool. Mechanical buttons feel very different to the membrane buttons that you'd find on an Xbox controller. The X20s are closer to a mouse click than the slightly mushy feel of the stock membrane variety, and they feel very satisfying, particularly if you're a fan of clicky button sounds. Around the back of the controller you'll find 4 programmable back buttons and some trigger locks to set the travel distance of the triggers, offering 2 different positions to either pull off quicker actions in your favourite first-person shooter or to use the Hall effect linear triggers for more depth and control in racing games. In the bottom middle you'll see the switcher to swap between connection modes, 2.4 GHz dongle, Bluetooth or Nintendo Switch. That's a lot of features for a £49 controller, but I would have loved to have seen some Xbox and PlayStation connectivity as well. You can connect your PC with either the included USB-C cable, Bluetooth or the dongle. The X20 supports a 1000Hz polling rate over the 2.4 GHz dongle and wide connection, which gives very low latency. Polling rate is used to describe the speed at which data is exchanged with the device. The higher the value, the faster the speed, the lower the latency is proved. For example, a gamepad with a polling rate of 125 Hz sends its status to the computer 125 times per second, or every 8 milliseconds. None of my tests were performed with a GPDL tester, which is a tool for measuring latency of gamepad buttons and joysticks by connecting to the controller's internals. But if you'd like to learn more about in-depth analysis of controllers, I highly recommend checking out gamepadler.com, which will be linked in the description. Using X input testing, the X20 showed very fast snapback from the Hall effect sticks and an average circle error rate of only 0.2%. Performing the same circularity test with the X20 connected via the supplied USB-C cable gave an average error rate of 0.0% on both left and right sticks, but a follow-up test did give us the 0.2 result as the dongle version. At the time of testing, there isn't any other results on Gamepadler of the X20, so I can't compare if any parameters differed from each individual controller, but as with most testings, your results could differ, although unless there is some fault, it shouldn't really be drastically different. Obviously numbers are great on paper, but real world usage in games is where it matters. I put the X20 through its paces in some games on PC, Nintendo Switch and Android, both mobile games, and Xbox xCloud. Connecting to a Nintendo Switch is easy. Simply move the selection into Switch mode, hold the home button for 5 seconds and your Switch should pick it up as a Pro controller. Connecting to a smartphone or tablet is also super simple. Put the selection into Bluetooth mode and hold the home button for 5 seconds. Then in your Bluetooth settings it should show as an Xbox controller. For testing I used a Galaxy Tab S6, but I would assume it's just as simple on an iPhone or iPad. Using the X20 to play Android-compatible games is responsive and comfortable, with the exception of the Command and Turbo button, which I prefer to be swapped with the Start and Select buttons. The placement always ensures you press the C instead of Start or Turbo instead of Select menu. It's a bit annoying, truth be told, because on a normal controller, here and here would be Start and Select. But on this is Start and this is Select, and I think they should be swapped around, really, because it's emulating an Xbox layout, but it's swapped the two quite important buttons, really. And because of where your thumb sits, you automatically go straight to here, but you need to go up here. Not the end of the world, not the worst thing in the world, but it's just a little bit annoying. Regardless, the rest of the controls all feel great, and the trigger locks are fantastic, especially at this price point, and they're great for shooting or racing titles. I do wish that there was some software that went along with this that would allow you to program the macros. I also haven't used any of the programmable back buttons because they are just mapping the face controls. So if you want the back button to do A, you can map it to that. I prefer when it's stuff like on the Razer Wolverine Chroma V2, you could actually map the speed of the stick to one of the back paddles. So if you were sniping, but you have all your sensitivity up really high, you can hold the back button and then you can look and it will slow it down. As soon as you let go, it goes back to the normal speed that you've set it to, and I find that really handy. But again, other people will vary, and if you're doing fighting games, you can set up macros that will do multiple inputs. So again, for different moves, you can set it up for that, which is really handy. I don't play those games though. There's not a massive amount of grip to the controller. There is a texture to the plastic, but that's about it. There's no rubber or anything. Overall, it's not a bad controller at all. £49. It's got way more features than a lot of more expensive controllers have, to be honest. But it's got really nice Hall effect sticks. It's got excellent trigger locks, which work tremendously well. But as I say, there's some minor gripes for an otherwise very good controller. If you want to see more, go to podcastversusplayer.com. It's all going along the bottom of the screen, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.